Alright, here is a video review for the KFC Toys STRATOTANKER, aka Octane. As you can see, here he is in his tanker truck mode. And right off the bat, you can see his shield stores up here, which is a temporary shield. You just have the wings kind of just sitting along the side. And it's possible to bump them out. You can see the airplane windows behind there. But no, all in all, not a bad little tanker. He's a little small in this mode. I guess cab is... Yeah, there's my thumb. Do I have anything here that I don't have anything right in front of me? That's a good comparison shot. I will get some when we switch gears here. But yeah, the shield stores back here. You don't have to leave it on here. It is kind of big on the back of the tanker truck, and you could if you want it to face the other way. There's a little, you can flip it around, have it face like this. But it seems less aerodynamic like that. It is kind of a giant spoiler on the back of the tank mode. But you don't have to put that on there. That's just a solid piece shield, and you can leave that off to the side if you want. His gun does store underneath here, although you can see that does tend to limit his rotational. That like pretty much kills any rotation he has up here because he does pivot up here. There's actually some neat stuff. But the gun's just tabbed in. There's a matching peg hole. You can flip it, plug it in either way. But it pegs onto this tab right here under the cab. And we'll set that off to the side. We'll go ahead and flip the handle out because I can't figure out how to store this in jet mode. So we'll go ahead and flip the handle out into it. The gun mode, which will show off in robot mode, he does have a little light up. It's hard to, if you can see that on my hand, but it does light up red. It's got a little red LED in it. There we go. You can see it from the front. But it lights up kind of this translucent bit here in the middle on the tip when you push this button. But once that's detached, you can see his cab does actually swivel pretty much to a full 90 degrees both directions. Actually a little past 90 degrees in both directions here at where it meets the trailer. And there's a little button right here behind the cab that if you push it back, allows the trailer to detach. This is basically, well, we transform this, you fold these up, his head's in here. This is basically the torso of robot mode, and you can see the rear fin here, and like the tail end of the jet is what this section is comprised of. But neat that they made it does cause a little bit of a gap between the front half of the jet and the tail section when you get to jet mode, and you'll see that in a minute. But the fact that it has the swivel here in vehicle mode, and you just push this button and you can attach the cab and have a separate trailer, and the trailer even has some built-in little supports here in the front to hold it up and keep it from rolling away. That's a neat little detail on this thing. The transformation is a little frustrating and fiddly, and again, you'll see some of that as we attempt to do it. But I'm willing to overlook some of the gappiness and the issues with jet mode because of that functionality. That's something really neat and something we haven't seen on the other Octanes. He does have rubber tires on rims. Mine did not come with any rubber tires on the front wheel. This is a review sample. Yours the final version will have rubber wheels up here. I just did not get them on mine. It is what it is. So yeah, there's the tanker truck mode, and again, you can snap this back through, but it's really difficult. You want to make sure you use this button and push that all the way. You want to make sure it comes all the way down so it's flush with the bottom part. You can lock it in a little looser. You can lock it in about halfway, but it doesn't lock in very securely. You want to make sure you get it all the way through before you let go of that tab, and that will lock it together. And you can see it holds it together very well. And that, now I can't turn because these things are up. Okay, and you want to make sure to flip those up. That is a problem I had not encountered. Make sure those are flipped up before you reattach it, or they will get in the way of the side-to-side motion. But there you go. Now, to turn them into a jet, with that button, you can, if you want, detach the cab, transform this to a tail, and reattach it. But you can also transform it all in one piece, and I'm going to attempt that here. Like I said, it's a little fiddly. But so the first thing on the cab, you want to pop the smokestacks off. They're on a ball joint down here, and they fold up. You can see there's a little tab on either side of the groove back here. You can see there's 2 tabs here where this tab's on. But these rotate in, how's if you get this up, and up, kind of lift them up. And they sit in there flat against the back part of the truck. And that's where they'll stay for both jet and robot mode. Back into place. So yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and flip the wings out if you want. I like to keep them mostly flat with the surface just because it helps them move around a little bit, or helps you get everything else around. But split, basically the whole trailer is going to split. You want to untab the arms from back here. See, they're pegged in right here. And bring them up on their assemblies, just get them out of the way. Split the whole rear part of the trailer. These are going to stay pretty much where they are, but you need to come in here, flip out the front parts of the jet, and rotate them around on the ball joint. Flip this wheel up out of the way for a second while we fold the wheels in, because the wheels kind of, you're going to fold them up, fold this wheel in a little bit, and then slide the whole assembly on this, rotate it up, continue sliding it, and it will kind of automatically fold this wheel in as you slide it back, and then but fold that flat and then fold the wheel up into there. And it's just the opposite to come out. It's tricky because you got to fold it down like this, start to lift the wheel up, which gives you enough clearance to start to slide it down the pole to about right there, at which point you can fold it all the way down, flip the wheel out, and slide it the rest of the way. But yeah, for now, I want to fold these wheels up in there, and then go ahead and fold the landing gear for the jet down, just to get them out of the way for other stuff. So yeah, again, fold the wheel back, slide it, fold it up, fold it back, and up into there. And once that's done, you can go ahead and take all of this and re-snap all of this back together. There's a peg here that pegs into the side of the leg, and it's very difficult to get lined up. You see this peg right here goes in here, and that, if you're having trouble getting all of this to collapse together, that's probably why. Actually, we don't want to do that yet. We want to leave these open because we need to rotate this piece over here. Yeah, snap the cockpit together. You can see there's the front half of the jet coming together. The rear half, we want to keep the arm assembly rotates by itself. We'll flip that around for robot mode. For jet mode, we want to leave these on the bottom, but we want to take this gray piece right above it and rotate it around like this, so the cab here is upside down in relation to the front of the jet. Then we can go ahead and close these back up, just like that. Oh, actually, with this thing, maybe we want to leave those open. So I fold this all back up. You want to bring, and it's, like I said, it's possible to do this without detaching the cab, but sometimes attaching the cab is a little easier because there's some panels that got to flip out on the back. Actually, you know what? I'm going to detach the cab. So we'll go ahead and pop the cab off, because these panels right here need to come out and around like that. Pull that up like this. Collapse all this back. Fold this back up here. Snap those back together. And again, you need to get this peg on the leg to snap in all the way, or it won't. It'll still peg together, but it won't peg in together securely. And this peg is always more of a pain than the other one. There we go. And make sure this tab goes together up here on top. This piece, you want to snap these two halves together like that. Oh, maybe not yet, because we want to reattach the hood. The wings come out, rotate out on their thing. There's a little tab here. So you rotate this forward and snap the wings into place up here. And then these tabs here tab into the back of this part. Let's go ahead and reattach. Let's go ahead and transform the cab and then reattach it, so we're done there. So flip these up, pull the whole side of the cab out like this, and then tab them together back here, form the back, flip these up. This should all tab together. There we go. Fold the wheels down flat like this. This will hold together better once you get it all done. All right. And then again, reattach it. Use the little button and reattach it to this part here. All right, now we can go ahead and take this, leave this sticking straight out the back, tab these pieces in here. All right, come here. On the back of the jet. You get under there. It's all how this piece right here folds up, and it's kind of a pain in the patoot. There we go. So yeah, plug these in. Make sure these are flapped over each other. Now jet's coming together. It's very long. So now the wings pieces will flip up and lock into place up here. Feel them kind of click up there. Rotate the wings so they're facing with the gray side facing up. These panels come back and around and up, and then this little gray, this piece, you see the shape, this piece right here, there's a tab on the gray piece right here that slots into this slot under the wing. So plug that in, bring the next one back, flip it over, and fit it into the wing as well. This piece, there's a tab here that's going to tab into here. You just kind of collapse that up. Peg that together. Peg this in here. Then the engine, you just kind of fold this, flip it around like this. You want the headlights facing forward for some reason. Fold this all up around like this. There's a tab here that's going to tab in to the arm. So make sure that lines up. And the elbows are a little tight here. There we go. Make sure that tabs together. And then the tab here will go into the wing. It takes a little finagling to get it to plug in, but it will tab on. Like that. And then do the same on this side. Tab this on here. Rotate the arm around. Rotate it around like this. Tab it on. And then tab the wing together. And this piece just kind of sits underneath here. I have not found, I thought maybe this sat up in the gap here, and it does not appear to. So I don't know. It does look like there's a big enough gap for that to sit in place there. Maybe if I... Let's see, but then when I try to bring it back down, now this is getting in the way of that. So, I don't know. It seems like there was more of a gap there before I started doing this. But then, I guess not. So that just panel just kind of sits under there. And you can see what I'm talking about here on the back end of the jet. It gets really gappy because of the way the, and I can't find any way to collapse this. There's screw here, there's no sliding joint, there's nowhere for it to slide. So I'm assuming that's intentional. The front of the jet looks pretty nice. You know, if you look at it from certain angles, it doesn't look too bad. But when you start looking at just the rear end of it, you see it's really gappy. Also, there's two here on the. So this one came undone from the tab up here. In the actual arm assemblies, there's little wheels on the back that come out. So you can set it down and have it land with the front landing gear. You can fold the front landing gear up. You can fold these up if you want to just swoosh it around. Not real high on the swooshability factor. He's not really the kind of jet that does swoosh really. I want to go step back to that, whatever. But yeah, there he is in tanker mode, which, like I said, is okay from certain angles. He does have the little tab here, and he comes with the stand, so if you want to display him in jet mode, you can do so. So yeah, there is his jet mode. Or tanker flying airplane mode. And then you go to robot mode. Go ahead and just kind of start undoing all this. Unpeg the arms here. Untab. Let's go ahead and untab this bit. Untab it from here. Open these up. These panels can finally come in, or unpeg the wings here. These panels can finally come out and around like this. You want to split this panel right here. Open up these little side panels on the top. Like that. That will allow you to bring these whole armatures down. Go ahead and take the front end of the jet and fold it back in. But this will come in, you see it'll clip in right there. This will fold down and become the foot. And same on this leg. Bring this down, bring this back in, and clip it into place to become the foot. Then these panels will come down and fold around the leg. And there is a tab right here, a slot right here for this tab inside here to collapse down onto the front of the leg, and that will hold it in place. So lock that in. Same on this side. Bring it down and lock that in like that. There's a little ball joint up here and a hinge, so if it comes down a little low, just lift it up and peg that in. All right. I'm going to go ahead, rotate his waist around so it's sitting below these two little white parts on the front of the waist. Let's compare to the upper body. Fold these down and around. We'll get to those in a minute. Go ahead and fold these panels back in around the wheels. Leave these loose for the time being. Take the cab, untab these pieces, fold these back up, and fold these assemblies all the way back around. Basically collapse the cab back off or break it. Great, that's, you know what, I've come to expect it. I was worried about the fingers, and we'll get to the fingers in a minute, but yeah, now that just sheared off, so. All right, great. All right, and there's little tabs here, so you bring this whole assembly around, make sure these are locked together. And fold the cab down around like this, and then tab it on, kind of collapse all this down and tab it onto the waist. Right here, we'll go ahead and see if we can't get this piece to stay on at least a little till we get through with this. All right. Backpack, lift the wings up and kind of snap them back into place up here. You can fold these up into here. This piece can collapse up and allow this piece to collapse onto the backpack, and you can close this up, and that will form the whole backpack of the robot. Bring his wings around so the gray's facing out. The arms, unpeg this part, and they're going to come up here, and then that tab here is going to peg in, and you got to kind of finagle how these work, but this will come up and peg in right here, and it's just a matter of getting all this stuff low enough and fold it up in the right direction to get this to snap into the right. There you go, it's like that. So this kind of angles forward, and then it snaps in up here. which point you're going to peg the arm, rotate it. Now, I'll show you something with the arms here. There we go. This way, if you have them this way with the screws facing out, you'll get a lot more range of movement in the arm. But I'm pretty sure, especially with the way that the shield attaches, because you can attach it down here, but you're supposed to rotate it around so the screws are on the inside. You still get a 90-degree elbow movement, but it hides the screws. Now, you can do it however you want. If you want to leave it facing around like this and fold it up, entirely your call. But yeah, I think it looks a little better to have the screws rotated in, and it makes the forearm look much more complete like this. Pull the wings out to the side, open up this little panel right here, and flip out his head, which can be a little problematic, so we'll go to our trusty old spudger and pry that up and out. Lift it all the way up, close that, and then flip it down, and then flip his hands out. And again, like I mentioned the hands a few minutes ago, or a minute or two ago, he's got the same superposable fingers, which, for the sake of posability, I get it, but it's also the fingers on those tiny, tiny little plastic stalks, which, again, it broke somewhere else, not on the finger this time. But you can, I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera here, but like this finger right here, right there on the thumb post, already has a really nasty, bright stress mark. And so I'm really super cautious about these fingers. I don't like, I agree that that does add some posability to it, but I'd much rather have a figure that I didn't have to worry about the fingers snapping off. Especially, like I said, right out of the box. I opened the package, and as soon as I saw these hands, the first thing I did was check them out. And there was this really bright, nasty stress mark right here on this thumb post. So if you get one, be careful with it. He does come with an alternate face. I don't like the yelling face, so I'm not gonna swap it out, but it's a simple matter. You also get a little screwdriver. You just unscrew the screw on the back of his head, pop it out, and you can swap out the face. The shield can tab onto either arm, right there on this little peg on the outside. And then his gun does tab, and again, I'm going to be very careful here because I don't want to risk breaking the thumb. The tab goes in here on the hand, and it does hold very securely. Like it doesn't droop. It doesn't, the arm is sturdy enough that like you can have him holding it straight out and it doesn't droop. The hand itself holds it very securely. So I saw somebody asking about that in the forums. It is very secure. So yeah, posability wise, he's got side to side head swivel up and down. That's not even the side that busted. Ratchets at the shoulders, front to back, and up and down. Bicep swivel. Again, the elbow really is determined by which way you have it flipped. This way it goes a little bit over 90 degrees, or right around 90 degrees. A lot more. You can go all the way up against the shoulder if you have the elbow facing the other way. You got the wrist swivel. You got a little bit of an up and down movement to the wrist, as well as the posable fingers, which again I'm not going to mess with too much. Waist swivel, the front flaps lift up, so you got ratcheting front and back, side to side hips. Thigh swivel, double knees, so again, the shape of the leg in the backpack is really more limiting of that movement than the knee itself. And the foot has a swivel, has a hinge back here at the heel, as well as a hinge halfway through the foot, so you can get some angled forward toe support. So yeah, there's been a lot of octanes. I think this is the third or fourth octane counting the Titan's return we've gotten in the last couple of years. There's a lot of things I like about it. I don't like that it broke. Just trying to fold the cab back up. I don't like the stress marks on the fingers. I'm really starting to hate hands like this. I wish that they would stop being used, although I've made that argument before, and I don't think they're gonna. But I like the detachable cab. I think that's a neat feature. That's something that they really didn't have to engineer into the truck mode, but it makes the truck mode that much cooler, that you can detach the cab and that it has the swivel and all that stuff. It does, as you saw, cause some problems in the back end of the jet mode, of the airplane mode. But the front of the airplane mode, depending on the angle you're looking at, it's not super noticeable. But that, I think the overall design I kind of dig is maybe a few changes to his head, but the basic outline and look of it I like. I just, like I said, I wish these things. I don't feel like maybe that was entirely my fault. Maybe I did something wrong, but I wasn't forcing anything when that cab piece broke. It's transformed 3 or 4 times without any issues. I hate that they keep doing it on camera, but you know, hey. So yeah, if you get it, be careful with it. Like I said, the fingers and those cab pieces, and just overall, there's a few places in that transformation that are a little scary. Like these, I could see these struts, and especially these little tabs that clip in here, and the clips themselves potentially cracking down the road. Not even through stress, just from, or not through misuse. Even when you're being gentle with it, just through repetitiveness, there's some parts on this that I can see snapping. So be careful with it. I wish the transformation were a little less fiddly, but now that I've done it a few times, and I understand once you figure out where everything is supposed to go, I think it works a little better. It's a decent octane. I can't enthusiastically recommend it unless you're just dying to have an octane. But if you are looking for a good octane, like, he's got some interesting features. I do dig the cab. I don't think he ever had that. He's supposed to have a little front headlight in clear purple. I think you may have been missing that from the get-go too, because that certainly hasn't fallen off here tonight. Anyway, yeah, there he is, KFC STRATOTANKER. Also, real quick, lest I forget, here he is with Howling Meteor, or just Meteor, Make Toys Meteor, as well as Masterpiece Megatron. Just to give you an idea where he scales with these guys.